Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Yeonni, and before we dive into today's video... Cats, please let me film this video. If you're a long-time subscriber, you already know that this happens quite a lot. My cats are crazy and he just touched my camera. What was I saying? Before we get into the bulk of this video, I just wanted to make a quick channel announcement. Starting from whenever this video is uploaded, I'm going to be uploading twice a week on my channel now. I think on Mondays, I'm gonna call it Mental Health Mondays just because it sounds great. And then on Fridays, I don't really have a name for it yet, so if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments down below. Friday essentially is going to be like etc. Fridays, where I'm just going to upload whatever I feel like uploading. I want to use this channel to really harness more of like my creative energy. There's this therapist, social worker side of me, but also I feel like I'm a very creative person, and especially right now with the pandemic and everything going on, diving into my creative side has really helped me alleviate some of my mental health symptoms like my anxiety. So yeah, Fridays can be vlogs or fashion videos, beauty videos, some things that kind of make me like push myself creatively, or even just like a sit down Q&A with you guys regarding my personal life. I'm hoping that these videos will have a lot of different good results, like one thing for me personally, but also for you guys to get to know me better. And yeah, so yes, that is my channel announcement. I hope you guys are excited, just as excited as I am, and let's just get straight into the video. So today's video is, this is how the pandemic affects your mental health, and all of the information that I've gathered here are from the CDC or the WHO websites. If you want to do some further reading, I will link everything as usual down below in the description box below, because this little video it's impossible to encompass all of the great information and resources that they have on their website. So check them out for yourself for some further reading. So I want to make this video to just bring to light that this is a very stressful time for all of us right now as humans, and I just want to kind of bring this out to the forefront to let you know that you're not alone in all of this. So here are some things that you might be experiencing right now because of what's going on with COVID-19 and the pandemic and everything that comes with that. Number one, as I mentioned, you might be experiencing a lot of stress. Stress can manifest in lots of different ways, maybe changes in eating patterns. Maybe you're eating more, maybe you're eating less, and that's a normal. Everyone's eating patterns of how much they should eat per day is very different, so I'm not here to say whatever that standard is. Everyone's standard is very individualized depending on your diet and your body type and what your health goals are. But what I'm talking about is something is not normal, abnormal to your pattern of eating. Another way that stress may manifest right now in you is that you're having difficulty sleeping. Maybe at night you're laying awake and you just can't really sleep. Your mind seems to be running in circles, or it could be the opposite. Maybe you're sleeping in a lot in the morning, and it's probably because you couldn't sleep the night before, but also it's hard for us to maybe wake up right now because of the stress. Like, what is this next day going to bring for us, especially when we open the news and there's just so much uncertainty still in the air. Some other ways that stress may manifest right now is maybe difficulty concentrating. I know I struggle with that right now, where it's really hard for me to focus on a task because I feel like there's just so much going on in my mind and in the world, and thus back into my mind. It's like a negative. I apologize. My sons are going through it right now. I don't know what it is, but just please try to ignore them. Let's hope we're still gonna get through this video. Concentrating. Yes, concentrating can be a bit difficult at this time. Other ways that stress may manifest in you right now physically is that you might have had some pre-existing health conditions and you might feel like that's getting worse. That's definitely something that could go on. Another thing is if you have pre-existing mental health diagnoses or conditions. I have anxiety. You could feel that some symptoms of your pre-existing mental health conditions are worsening. I'm definitely feeling a lot more anxiety at this time, and even some symptoms of depression, that's for sure. And last but not least, some people could experience an increase in alcohol or other substance use at this time as a way of coping with their stress and what's going on in the world. Another thing you might be experiencing right now is anxiety. I already said it a few times, but when things are uncertain, we could feel a lot of symptoms of anxiety, and that's what this year feels like. A lot of uncertainty, whether it's globally, internationally, like what's going on with this country, with the elections coming up. that's a lot of uncertainty, and that obviously bleeds into our personal lives. A lot of uncertainty with our lives. If your offices have closed down because of the pandemic, when are you going to open again? And like, let's say you don't have enough space in your home to create like a perfect work from home option. How are you going to work in this environment for who knows how long? It's a very anxiety-provoking time, and you're definitely not alone when you're going through that. And also just even the pandemic in itself, we're hearing all these numbers on the news of people losing family members and friends, and I feel like there's two sides of that to acknowledge. There's people who have been directly affected by the coronavirus, like they've literally lost a loved one. I know there's this girl, I found her through a GoFundMe, her name is Hannah Kim, I think she lives in California. She lost her grandmother, I believe, and both her mother and father through the pandemic. So her and her younger brother, because of what's going on in the world right now, they just became orphans just like that. And I cannot imagine what that's like. I have a friend who lost her grandfather to the pandemic, and it's directly affecting them. And other people who are being directly affected by the pandemic is essential workers, my friends who are going into work every day, providing therapy, providing healthcare to clients and patients at this time that need it. And then I feel like there's people on this side where I guess I'm here as well, where to be honest, I directly thank God right now my family and my direct friends are safe. However, I don't feel like that really separates me from this camp, because we're a society, we live in a community. As humans, we're not living in just our little bubbles. So when I hear that this girl, Hannah Kim, lost her parents, I grieved for her and her family, because that's just so heartbreaking. When I heard that my friend's grandfather passed away from COVID, I grieved for him and her family, and for her, I felt terribly for her, because this is going on and affecting all of us. So that also gives me anxiety. Just because me, myself, my direct family and friends are safe doesn't mean that this pandemic is not happening. Doesn't mean that it's not going to affect me. It's affecting me. It's affecting everyone. Yeah, that makes me feel a lot of anxiety. And I kind of mentioned this a little bit. You could be feeling a lot of symptoms of depression at this time. I know that I'm definitely going through that. I made a video on this channel and I was crying, and it was I felt a little embarrassed to post it, but I'm really glad I did, because I always feel so grateful that I have this community here, our little corner of the internet, where you guys are just so kind to me. You gave me so much amazing feedback and helped me to feel seen, that I'm not alone when it comes to experiencing these symptoms of depression and God, like what is going on in the world right now, And that's also why I'm back here today making this video, to hopefully make you, whoever you are that's watching, feel a little less alone, at least for this moment. And something that I've also been experiencing that is also connected with the depression is I've been feeling a lot of kind of this existential dread. And what that means is like existential. If you look at the word like exist, my existence, I'm questioning my existence and the existence of humanity. And I just feel like as humans, I feel like all of this that's happening has made me feel, sometimes I lay awake at night and I'm like, what is the purpose of my existence, of humanity's existence? What is the value that we bring into these kinds of really kind of deep questions that really don't have a straightforward answer. You might be experiencing some sort of existential dread or existential questioning, and it's totally normal. You're definitely not alone there. Last thing that I wrote was anger. It's a very uncertain time, which leads to a lot of different emotions. And I, for one, have definitely felt a lot of anger at this time. Maybe anger at people who may not be abiding by social distancing guidelines, who think this doesn't apply to them. Anger at the government. Anger at myself, because I feel so useless. Like I want to help people more, but I don't know how. It's a very touchy time, and I definitely see it happening in my personal life as well. Now I want to share some statistics with you that I found on the CDC website. There's a new CDC report that was published, and they talk about statistics that was gathered during late June 2020, and they pretty much asked American adults how they're feeling at this time, like in the middle of a pandemic, right? It's not a surprise, but 40% of US adults reported struggling with mental health or substance use at this time. 31% of adults said that they're struggling with anxiety and symptoms of depression. 26% of people said that they're struggling with trauma and stress-related disorder symptoms. 13% said that they started or increased substance use. 11% that they were seriously considering some thoughts of maybe ending their lives. And this is very important information, and it's important that this data is being gathered because the pandemic is not only affecting people health-wise, medically, you get the virus, you get sick. It's affecting us severely with our mental health, not only with the impending uncertainty of a global pandemic, but with social isolation and social distancing. Many people are forced to stay at home. You can't go out and interact with other people. You can't interact with the world and your lives like how you used to. And there's also an increased rate of victims of domestic violence because domestic violence victims are forced to stay at home. And it's harder for them to connect with resources and help out in society because a lot of centers are closed right now. And a very, very interesting but important figure that I read on that report is that these symptoms that I mentioned just before affect certain people significantly higher than others. Respondents aged 18 to 24, minority racial and ethnic groups, self-reported unpaid caregivers for adults, essential workers, which definitely makes sense, and people receiving treatment for pre-existing psychiatric conditions. These are populations that reported to have significantly higher distress when it comes to their mental health. So how do we deal with it? What can we do? Unfortunately, we can't press a button or just receive a vaccine in our mail and this pandemic is going to be over and we're just all going to go back to normal. There are studies and statistics that show that this pandemic is going to have severe long-term effects, not only on economy, on small businesses, but obviously also on our mental health. First thing that we can do is first figure out ways to cope and deal with stress. So number one, be informed. Know what is going on in the world. And the most important thing is make sure you're monitoring yourself and your health, because the matter of fact is no matter how much we try to social distance, there's no way we're literally stuck in our home 24/7. We have to go out and get groceries, deliver groceries to your senior parents if you have to. Some of us have to work at this time. You have to go to work. So there is always a chance, or even if you get food for takeout, some people have touched that food. So I'm not trying to scare you here, but I'm saying it is very real. The chance to get this virus right now is a very real thing. So be sure to be informed on what you can do if by chance, God forbid, knock on whatever this material is, metal, God forbid that happens, but know where your closest medical facility is, know their procedure, know what you can do to keep yourself and others safe at this time, and also be informed just when it comes to CDC, WHO, what is going on. Is the vaccine being processed? How is your local and your national government dealing with the pandemic? Are they not dealing with the pandemic? Do you have a president who goes on an interview and when asked the question of how do you feel about thousands of Americans losing their lives because of this pandemic, and he says it is what it is, look it up, he said that. Be informed. But also secondly, take a break. I know that's kind of like stepping it back. It's good to be informed, but it's always a balance. I know for a fact for me, I went through a phase where I was glued to my phone every day, just reading up on everything about the pandemic, and it gave me so much anxiety and stress, and I knew that I had to step it back. I knew I could not be doing this anymore. So if anything, maybe once or twice a week, I try to check in, okay, this week, what are the updates? What's going on? What are the numbers? That way I can be an informed citizen. However, I take it back to take a break just to make sure I stay safe. Take care of your emotional health. There's a lot of ways to do this, but one way that I did it, like I just explained, is just stepping back from being overwhelmed with all of this information. Take care of emotional mental health, but if you have a therapist that you've been working with, try to continue working with them. There are plenty of online resources at this time, which of course I will post in the description box down below, where you can text a therapist, you can call a therapist, you can join group chats and supportive group circles on the internet where there's other people like you who are struggling with similar things as you are, who could maybe provide you with some emotional help. So there are resources still out there. I hope you don't feel like you're alone. So take care of your emotional health. Another way that you can take care of emotional health is do things that make you happy. Right now, there's so much negativity in the world, and one of the ways that I've also been coping is I purposely look up good news that is happening around the world. I'm not saying I'm just inundating with myself with all this good news and not looking at the negative stuff. It's always a balance. I want to see what is going on in the world that is good, some positive things that I can fill my system with. And that also involves doing things that make me happy, like making YouTube videos, putting on makeup, putting on a little dress, going out for a walk if I need it, taking care of yourself, and doing things that make you feel joy. The next thing you can do is talk to someone if you can. Can you talk to your friends? Can you talk to your family? I guarantee you, you're not the only one in your close circle who is going through whatever you are going through right now. So being able to connect with someone. Lastly, I've listed various resources in the description box down below. Please check them out, whether to inform yourself on COVID facts or just to find ways to deal with stress or anxiety or depression or all of these things that are going on. CDC has some amazing resources on their website. And the last thing I want to say is not only is it my own personal experience to have witnessed this, but also research and statistics support that in times of global mass-wide dread, there is this beautiful thing called hope, where people are able to find new hope, new strength in the most darkest times of their lives. And this is not only a global thing, but on a personal level, as individuals, we can surprise ourselves at times. We can come out of things, and on days that feel like the darkest, we just have to really push on through and be strong through it all. And what's most important is just check in with yourself right now. How are you feeling today? Right now as you watch my video, are you okay? Not only physically because of COVID, but mentally. How are you feeling today? It's really important to consistently check in with ourselves. That's it for my video on how the pandemic affects our mental health. I hope you were able to learn something from the statistics and the information that I shared with you guys, but also I hope you're able to feel a little less alone. Even the people in your life right now that look fine, not everyone is just fine. We're all going through things behind the closed doors, and I'm being honest with you, I am as well. I'm going through it. I've experienced the stress, anxiety, depression, existential dread, anger, and all of those things. But you know what? I'm not gonna give up. You know, a year like this time last year, my life was so different. It's so different this year, which also gives me hope. This time next year, things can be so different. And I think it's just important as humans in society that we check in with ourselves, that we show empathy, compassion. We don't get into this mindset of not my problem. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. And I want to start doing this on my videos now. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. If you're a longtime subscriber who has been here a long time, hi, thank you for being here. If you've been someone who happens to come across my video here and there, I keep being recommended to you, why not take a chance and subscribe? I would like to think I'm a nice person, I don't know, but join this little small corner of the internet. I will be uploading 2 videos a week now, which is really exciting. I hope you're doing well mentally, physically, emotionally, and all of that. I'm sending you strength through this camera right now, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.